Greetings YouTube. A video that I've been interested to make is a comparison of all the audio recording devices, otherwise known as microphones, that one has in one's possession. And actually, when I've sat down to make a little list of those things, there's more than I might have imagined. And then I'll insert a little picture of all those devices here, and you can see there's a variety of things there. And I've thought it might just be quite interesting for me, and maybe interesting for others, to have a little comparison of what the actual audio pickup of a random collection of devices like that, such as other people may happen to have accumulated, might be like. My particular interest is for making YouTube videos, and I'm trying to work out whether I need to invest further in more audio recording equipment. Quite a lot of things in that list I will not try and use for making YouTube videos, but I want to get a flavour of all the microphones in all the different devices there. So to start off with, the audio that you're listening to right now is coming through my MacBook Pro, and that's a MacBook Pro 16-inch M1, a couple of years old, and generally I found the audio pickup on that device to be quite good, particularly locally to the machine, and it's proven to hold its own in amongst other recording devices, such as switching to the Canon EOS 70D microphone, which we're now listening to, and that audio pickup has routinely been quite echoey, and obviously the echoey factor relates to the room. This environment has got some sound deadening. You can see a big heavy curtain to the side there, and there's other furnishings in this room which absorb lots of sound, but it's not the perfect recording environment by any means. But I found that the Canon versus the MacBook Pro is significantly more echoey. The next device we're going to test for the audio recording is the iPhone 12 Pro, which I've had in my possession for a while. It's made 2023. It's not the newest of iPhones that's out there. I've not had a compelling need to upgrade to a newer phone as yet, but I feel the time is kind of ripe, and I'm in that eternal battle of do I stick with what's out now, which is the iPhone 14, or wait for the iPhone 15, which is probably only 6 or 7 months away. So not sure what they're going to do there yet, but the audio that you're listening to now is coming through on the iPhone 12 Pro, which is recording away just to my right here. So that's a comparison there of the audio pickup for the iPhone 12 Pro when it's about probably half a metre away from me. And we will move on to the next device, which is going to be the AirPods Pro. Okay, so the next one we're going to test is the AirPods Pro. I'm not sure what generation these are, maybe second generation, can't remember, need to check. One of the best things I've ever bought for sure. I've got them in my ears at the moment, and the audio that you're hearing now is coming through on the AirPods. What I've noticed when using these in conference calls at work is that they pick up a lot of the surrounding noise of people passing by, and that can be quite distracting for those kind of situations. Obviously, in this sort of more studio-like environment, it's not so much of a problem. But I've kind of stopped using these for conference calls when I'm out and about, just because that background pickup isn't really what I'm after. But I'd be interested to see how the audio of these compares to the other options that we've got available. So that's the AirPods Pro.
Next up, what we're testing is the Jabra Evolve 65 headset, which you can see I am now wearing. This is another device that I use with work, and it's actually my favoured conferencing device at the moment. I think that is largely down to the microphone. One major advantage of this type of headset is the pickup of audio is so localized that, for example, when I was in the office the other week and there was the neighbouring office undergoing some really significant construction work, where they were putting 2 new floors on top of the existing building in central London, I'm really going for it with some heavy machinery. The building was vibrating. I could feel my rib cage vibrating from the drilling, and I apologised to people on the call, and they couldn't hear the background noise at all. And that's testament to the local pickup on these microphones. So it's really good for that environment. I'm not really sure I want to use this as a YouTube device because I have to sit here with a headset on, which isn't really what I'm looking for. So that's the Jabra Evolve 65 headset.
Next device that we're testing here is the Sony headset that I'm wearing now. This is the Sony WH-1000XM2. It's not the newest in this range, good couple of years old, probably spent a few £100s on it at the time, and it's really good for music playback, love it. When I want to have full headphones on, generally I use my AirPods Pro because they're much more convenient when traveling around. But yeah, really good headset for music. Don't really use it so much for conferencing, but I'll be interested to see what the mic pickup is like on it, and that's what we're listening to right now. So that's the Sony WH-1000XM2. This is an iPad from 2018. The audio you're listening to is now coming through the mic pickup on this device. Again, not really something that I'm anticipating using for making YouTube content, but it will be interesting to see what the mic's like, just so I know for the eventuality that I do need to use it, and we can weigh it up against all other options at the time. But yeah, iPad 2018 audio coming through now, and that's the end of that test. So another device which I use with work is this HP EliteBook 840G7. I tend not to use this for conferencing, but the audio you're listening to is coming through from that device. So I'll be interested to see how it compares to all the other things that we've got lined up here for audio recording. I'm just spieling away really, just to give a good amount of padding to review the audio, but that's about it. Nothing more to be said about it, apart from that the video pickup on this device is significantly worse than the video pickup on the MacBook Pro, which probably reflects their relative price brackets, but I wonder if that is also reflected in the quality of the microphone. We shall see. Next thing I'm going to test is the GoPro Hero4. I must have had that for at least 5 years. I don't really need any introduction. I'm recording on it already, and we will be able to compare the audio which you're listening to now against all the other devices that we've got lined up here. The interesting thing will be also to test it with the case which I've got here, because most of the time when you're doing using a GoPro, it's because you're out and about doing something crazy. So sticking with the action cameras, this is an Insta360 X3, significantly newer than the GoPro Hero4, which we were looking at a minute ago. I've only had this for a few weeks. It's been out as a product for a couple of years, I think, and the microphone on board is reportedly quite good. There's actually 4 microphones included, one front, back, and one on each side, but I have also got an external device which I plan to use when recording with this, and we'll test that in a minute. But this is the audio coming through for the Insta360 X3. The last device I'm going to test is the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone. There's 2 microphones, 2 of these, and a receiver which looks very similar, which is currently connected into my laptop by a little USB-C cable. And these are probably the most prosumer microphones that I have. and I may use these for my YouTube videos depending on what the output's like. As you can see, I've currently got the muffle attached to it. It would normally be attached onto one's clothing like that, so it's probably worth doing a little test just with the device attached to my t-shirt like so. I've also got the muffle on it at the moment, which I'm going to take off in a second so we can compare in case there's any significant impact. There's obviously not much wind inside my flat here, so the noise from there's no need for the muffle essentially. So going to remove the muffle and test again. That's without the muffle whilst I'm holding it, and then this is without the muffle whilst it's attached to my clothing. So again, compare and contrast what it's like in all those sort of configurations. But yeah, this would be an option, or is an option for doing these videos. It's potentially a little bit distracting to have something like that there, which is more, I guess the question was, which is more distracting, having something like that or having a mic on a little boom, which is, you know, generally the done thing in YouTube, but would involve spending, you know, another few £100 on another bit of kit, which I've then got to store and, you know, have around. So I generally like to make use of things that I've got already. So we'll see if this is sufficient. But anyway, that's the audio for the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone. This configuration is slightly different, although you can't tell just by looking at it, in that I've got the Rode Wireless Go microphone on my clothing, which is then transmitting to the Rode wireless receiver, which I've moved to now be attached to my Canon camera, with a little audio output into the microphone input for the Canon EOS 70D. And if I tap on here, that should give me the confirmation that I need that it is actually recording via this microphone rather than picking up on the Canon. But assuming this is all working okay, this is probably the logical setup for the time being to use for my YouTube videos, because it's a single video source which has also got the audio channeled directly into it at the time of recording, meaning I don't have to mess around with too many bits. So hopefully for the time being we're going to be Canon EOS 70D Rode Wireless Go microphone for these studio videos. Okay, good. This is a few days later, and we're now testing the wireless transmitter for the Rode Wireless Go, which is now attached under my jumper, and then the wireless receiver is directly connected into the iPhone. And that's the reason why there was a few days delay, because it turns out that you need a very specific cable to do the proper direct connection from the receiver to the iPhone. They don't ship that cable in the pack for the Rode wireless mic, presumably because you would need a different cable depending on whether you're on Android or on Apple. Obviously with the iPhone having the dedicated lightning port at the moment, well, on the iPhone 12 Pro that I have here, no doubt going to be changing to USB-C, certainly in the European regions, I believe, based on a ruling about the whole USB-C kerfuffle. But anyway, that was the reason for the delay, and this is the test of a very portable, easy setup of the iPhone with the Rode receiver and the Rode transmitter, which could be used anywhere. So that's that. Well, I think I'm inevitably going to be playing around and tweaking with this whole setup for recording and filming and audio and everything for forevermore, which is obviously part of the fun. But that's been an interesting review back over all the different microphone options that are built into everything, and I'll be interested to see what you think is the best audio. If you've managed to watch this video, then I can only apologise for losing 15 minutes of your life or something, but maybe comment down below as to what you think the best audio was.